and then not having a panic attack. I mean, obviously you see them again and it might be, and we haven't studied the nervous system yet, but it might be that you see them again and it might be that, okay, you need to tweak something, or you need to make sure that it's a bigger dose, or you need to make sure that they're having a more long-term dose. But effectively, that's down to your formula in the first place. You don't really want someone to be going away and still having like proper full-blown panic attacks. Not really.
Okay, which, I ain't going to say this, but we'll come on to this, but when you send your client away,
Yeah.
in terms of giving them a hope and expectation, what, you know, because if I was the client, I'd say, okay, when's it going to make a difference to me?
Okay, but this is something that we'll do on clients, practicing with clients, because that's not to do with the formula. So we got to do a whole. I'm going to say we're going to do a day, and I'm going to say we need to do 2, because we're not going to fit it into a day. So working with clients is a whole. There's things to say, there's things to not say, there's how to leave the client at the end of a session. So that's all. We'll come to that. We'll come to it.
Can I just ask a very quick question about the vital force?
Yeah.
Does any of these, when you're making up, whether it's a decoction or a tincture, does that affect the vital force of the herb you're using in any way? Because you're only going to be using a part of the plant in your treatment, aren't you? Like if you're filtering it, and so you've got the leaves are over there, and you use them to make tea.
You always. Do you mean when you collect the plant?
From there's the plant, you pick it.
Yeah.
And then you treat it, and so you treat it physically. You mash it up or do whatever you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're only using maybe a part of that.
Yeah.
Or an extract of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So as far as the growing plant is concerned, yeah, of course, it does affect it, but you harvest with the very best of the plant, yes, and in the correct way as well. I mean, you wouldn't give somebody rotty leaves with, you know, at the end of the day, remember that you are healing or trying to. And as far as the vital force, the plant's vital force within the body, I think you should look at it in the way that you are utilising that vital force, which is in the whole of the plant. So the vital force is in the whole of the plant. Yeah. It's in the whole of the person and the whole of the plant. So even though you're using the tip of the leaf or the petals or whatever, the vital force is in the whole of the plant. So when you use it, you're combining it with the vital force of the other plants as well, or you know, whether you're using a pear or whatever. So the interaction with the body's vital force is guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's guaranteed. Okay. Yeah.
So it doesn't make a difference.
Does that answer that
question? It does.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously, what you need to remember is if you have a remedy that we've spoke about this, I think, that needs to be administered at night because it is a sedative. You don't. Obviously, this has to be considered when you're making up your medicines and delivering that medicine, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're giving someone take it twice a day and they take it at breakfast, and actually it's a sedative, so they're just sitting there at work and they don't know what to do. Right. How am I doing? 3:57. I was just talking about low dose and high dose, whether it works on the vital force, for example, or whether it works on the actual organ system. There's two schools of thought with that, and people argue about it all the time. Low dose people say that it's the high dose is being there's too much forcing the vital force to be corrected, whereas high dose people say that they're being too cautious, and it's like the argument between high doses and low doses. But you know what, the fact of the matter is you should get it into your head that when you're using tinctures, you want to use both. There's nothing right, there's no right or wrong. It's not like, oh, Becky, did you use a low dose? It's not. There'll be situations like with working with SOS, working with anxiety, that you might want to just do something that's really long-term, low dose, and there'll be situations where you want to think, no, man, this person needs a high dose. We want to be working on we don't just want to be doing the vital force, we want to actually be correcting here as well. So we want to be getting that balance a little bit quicker. So again, it's all about actually just being in both camps, not being a low doser or a high doser. You know, let's not do that. Let's be in both camps. And you should have enough education to actually think, okay, I want to do it that way, I want to do it this way, you know. Just quickly going on to powders and dried infusions. So when you're working with powders and dried infusions, and actually Gary, this might answer something that you said earlier, but I don't know if it does or not. Work with volumes, not weights. And really, 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 I cannot say this enough, really keep it simple. So if you're actually prescribing for someone, and that's a word you shouldn't use, but let's say you're prescribing for someone, just stick to, simplify it, so stick to teaspoons and, you know, teaspoons, tablespoons. And just to get it into perspective, you know, when you have a cup of herbal tea, if you break open a tea bag, so let's say a pucker tea bag, and you see how much herb is in it, yeah, once you cut open a pucker tea bag. If you're working with someone with a digestive problem and you are working with an infusion, you would get a mug, standard size mug. So you know, standard size mug, not a plant pot mug like a Costa, not Johnny, yeah, a standard sized mug. And let's say you're working with chamomile, or let's say you're working with your blend, your formula that you've made up, you would want them to fill the mug to the top with the plant, with the formula, and pour the water on it and leave it for 15-20 minutes, and then then strain it and then drink the cooled infusion. So the comparison between having a pucker detox tea or a cleanse tea, the comparison on amounts between the formula that you create and what you get in a tea bag is huge. And do you know what? Try it. If you've got some chamomile, you try a chamomile tea out of a tea bag, and you try a mug full of chamomile, pour it on, leave it for 20 minutes, strain it off, bloody drink that. I tell you what, it's the difference is huge. So when you're looking at formula, you're doing a formula for a digestive formula, and you want it to be coating the digestive tract all the way down, touching all these organ systems. You don't want to be skimping. You don't want to skimp. You don't want to give them little tea bags and they can have 2 a day. No, you don't want to be doing that. You want to be saying, right, okay, so here's your sack per day, and you want to be divide that between 3 mugs, and you want to have 3 mugs of that every day. And they'll go, oh my God, can't drink all that. And you say, you can, you will, do it now, do it. And it's huge. You want to be really proactive with your administration.
So that's about what's in that jar at the moment.
That is about what's in that jar. This is another reason why you can't grow it all if you're going to practice, you see.
Sorry, but I thought you said stick to teaspoon or tablespoon. Have I heard it wrong? Like, don't stick to tablespoons.
If you're using powders,
Just
or
powders.
dry, if you're using anything that's a powder or a dried infusion, If you're doing it as a tea for that's just a tea for a digestive system. But if you're doing anything else that if I'm giving that to you and I'm saying, Lenka, right, you need to take this is a month's supply.
I get it.
You know, just keep it simple. You know, whether it's a mug or whether it's a teaspoon or a tablespoon. You know, but basically, just don't be shy. And I think we'll stop there. I think we'll stop there. 4:03. No, we won't. No, we won't. Just one more thing. Obviously, nervine and hypnotics we want to take at night. Maybe an hour before bed and then again at bed. So anything that you're cooking up for someone that's for insomnia or anything that needs to be, that is a sedative or of any kind or a nervine, then you want to be taking it at bedtime and an hour before bed as well.
So twice?
Yeah, twice.
See, I'm loving valerian at night time.
Yeah.
So I dab it in and I'm there sleeping.
In what way do you take it?
I have mine in teas at the minute.
Valerian tea?
Yeah, I like it.
Nice.
But mix it with a bit of orange.
Digestions, anything to do with digestion, you would want to be having 15 minutes before food. You'd want to be taking adaptogens. The formula that's an adaptogen you would want to be taking in the morning. So fitting in with the natural rhythms of the day, unless of course they have a sleep element to them when you would do it at night. A pain formula you would be doing as and when needed, but you would what's good with a pain formula is you would probably prescribe like what we call a loading dose. So a loading dose is every hour until the symptoms subside, and then you would reduce it to as and when. Yeah.
Oh, so you wouldn't carry on after the.
So if I'm giving you something for pain, that's a pain relief, then to load your system with it, I'd say have it every hour until the symptoms subside, and then I'd say right, and when the pain comes back, have it again and have it again. Yeah.
And what was that called? A loading.
That's called a loading dose. And the same with immunities as well. With working with immunity, you want to load the dose. You want to load the dose with immunities as long as the client is resting.
How come? When you say resting?
Because if you're doing an immune formula and you've got anything in there that is a relaxant or sedative or anything like that, you don't want it to be like, well, they need an immune formula. It depends what you've got in your formula, but if they have to go on the tube every day in London, then you want to watch what you're giving as an immune boost in the formula. If they've got to keep going and going.
So, like, could you do like the loading dose in the evenings? If they had to do something like, get on the tube and go to work and blah blah, could they do that, or is the loading dose having to be like the whole day?
You'd want to do it. You'd want them to have some. Yeah, if you're doing an immune system boost that someone's that poorly, then you would hope that they would be having a few days off, so that you could load the dose up, and then you could prescribe it accordingly in with their lifestyle and how it fits in with them going back to work. But initially, to load the dose, you want them to be resting, because it might make them go to the loo, or it might give them a banging headache, or they might need to drink loads of water, or you know what I mean. So there's going to be, depending on what your formulation contains, that's how it. Ideally, you'd want to load that dose while they're resting. Yeah, And then of course you end your formulation with how much they need to take and for how long. And there's no way you can really work that out until you start to do a formula, and then that gets that's another tricky dicky thing, because the worst is if you work it out and you've done it wrong and they don't have enough. Too much is fine, not enough and not good. So I'm now going to give you, do you know what we got through today? Well done everyone. We actually did get through it. We missed a little bit out, but you know, we won't talk about that. Right, so I'm going to give you, first of all, I'm going to give everyone a formulation sheet. Now, these sheets are, actually, I'll keep one and I'll pass them. I'll go in and pass them around so you can be in charge. So what you've got on your formulation sheet, this is to help you out to remember everything. So you've got client name at the top with date, and you've got primary symptoms being treated, then you've got primary tissue state being treated, you've got your pre-formulation, which is a list of herbal actions, organ affinities and net energetics that you want your end formula to have. This is your checklist that you go back to. So come back to that when you have a finalised formula to check that you have addressed all the required points. And then I've got little lists there, so you've got your little boxes with herbal actions, affinities and net energetics. You've got a little box at the bottom that says Herbal Brainstorm, which is a list of herbs with the broadest spectrum of the above actions, affinities and energetics. You turn over and you've got your assigning roles. So you're assigning whether you are going to a lead, a supporter, a corrector or a driver. And then you've just got a little box at the bottom to jot down some triplet ideas or some pair ideas. I know it's not a lot of space, but I kind of wanted to put something together to prompt or help. You've then got another page which is formulation draft, and that's just so you can have a play around with. I've put percentages on there, but you know what? Just however you want to measure stuff is however you want to measure stuff, as long as you know whether if your tea is 50% chamomile and 20% something else and 20% something else and 10% licorice. Do you know, as long as it's, you know, or whether it's half and a quarter, you know, it doesn't matter. It's however you feel that you want to separate it up, as long as you understand it and you're not just going like that, you know, that's not good. You need to measure it in somewhere like that. We don't talk about that. That's only because I know it. That's only because I know it. That's only because I've got to justify myself on tape now.
That was with oils, though, isn't it?
When I make my oils, I do not need to measure them out on account that I am an expert. And Rhea used to mix them, and she was doing it for 4 years, and she would pass me something, I'd sniff it, and I'd say, you haven't put the right vetiver in there, and she was a drop short. So, yeah, I know my shit apart from oils.
Yes, baby.
No,
In the
just
doghouse.
course out of the jar.
Yeah.
And then on the last, you've got your final formula. So you put your plant name, and I've changed that bit there, look, to percentages, parts, millilitres, don't care. Pick a measurement, volumes, whatever. And then you've got your net actions. What are your net affinities? What are your net energetics? What's your dosage going to be? Just have a go. What's your dosage going to be? What's your frequency going to be? And how much do you want to be dispensed based on your frequency and your dosage? And then any notes that you've got, which is probably going to be loads. So that's kind of just like a little sort of, I can't keep printing those for people because the printer's dead. So if you want to copy that and use it, for when you practice, then please do. And then we've got, there you go, Gary. So this is something to look at. Right, okay. So I'm just going to run through this if everyone's all right for 5 minutes. So you've got client 1. I've done client 1 because I'm going to try and give you a client for every month from now on. So client 1, she's 24, she's a nursery practitioner. She's got hobbies of walking, reading, baking and going to the gym. Day-to-day foods are, she has Weetabix with cow's milk, sugar, porridge with Nutella, sugary cereals, fruit, yogurt, granola, sometimes. Lunchtime, she's provided with a full cooked lunch at work that always includes 4 different vegetables, some meats, some sort of carbs, potatoes, rice, pasta, dessert. After lunch, she'll have a crumble, sponge cake. So she's eating a fair amount of food. Dinner, she goes into what she has for dinner as well. There's takeaways in there and there's all sorts in there, and I expect people who've done the nutrition course to be really clued up and onto this. Drinks, she has coffee with syrup. I expect all the nutrition people now to be going like that. Milk every morning. She's got at least 3 cups of tea with milk and sugar per day. She's got a multivitamin. She's got a vitamin C that she has when she has a cold. She'll probably take that before she gets a cold. She's got current symptoms, right? Bad stomach pains, bloating, lower back pain, excruciating pain during periods. She was diagnosed with endometriosis and she had endoscopy to remove it. Her current state is that she's been asthmatic for as long as she can remember, and she's been using a steroid inhaler twice every day. She's got stomach pain, she's got bloating weekly with no particular pattern whatsoever that she can decipher. She's got acne, she's got redness mainly on the cheeks, dry skin. So she's got quite a conflicting thing going on there. She's got acne and she's got dry skin as well. Has regular thrush treated by doctors with antibiotics. So again, if we go back to our gut class, everybody and anyone who's been to nutrition as well as gut class should now be going woo woo woo. She's got antibiotics that she has every single month. And then it comes back worse. Oh my goodness, I can't think, why can you? It comes back worse. Of course it comes back worse. She's got fatigue and she's got tiredness quite often, and her bowel movements are once every 2 to 3 days. And that is your homework.
Can I have that one? There wasn't enough.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So, just a quick question.
Yeah.
As a herbal practitioner, would you be looking at, so you're going to look into your formula and your herbs and things like that, but underneath it all, someone like this, you'd want them to be making huge lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
You include all of that as part of your...
Well, I would, but I'm a naturopathic wellness consultant, so, but yes, I would want to be looking at lifestyle changes. And that's why I started by saying everybody who's a herbalist should really know the basics, the need to know of nutrition, because it overlaps, because it's food. So it's what you're putting in, it's what you assimilate. You are what you assimilate, not you are what you eat, you are what you assimilate. So it revolves around toxicity, it revolves around work, it revolves around everything, lifestyle, everything. So at the end of the day, yeah, if anyone still wants to do the nutrition thing, you can still book it online and you can just watch us, or Mel's going to watch it again. And again.
What's endometriosis?
Yeah.
It's inflammation where you're... I really should know this means I had hysterectomy. There's 2. It's where bits of you... Oh, someone help me out because I'm too tired to think.
I pointed at you
I know,
for this.
I am so bloody tired. I can't think straight.
basically bits of your wound grow where they shouldn't, and it causes lesions and things to stick together, causing painful bowel movements, painful to walk.
Does it grow outside of the...
It's because I always get the two confused, because then you've got adenomyosis, which normally runs alongside it, which is an enlarged uterus.
Yeah.
But it
So
can't be
endometriosis
cured.
is an inflammation of that area, yeah, and because the inflammation is tissue state, the inflammation is outward, it affects then the associated organ systems. So the default treatment of it is they operate and
Hormones.
cut it out, don't they?
No,
That's what
they burn it out.
client one had.
It's
Burn it
they
out.
go in and
Yeah,
they
but they
burn
go in
laser
and
it
remove
off,
it.
but
Yeah.
they can't because it's usually left untreated for such a long time because
Yeah.
it takes a long time for a diagnosis. Not so much now, I don't think. By the time they get to laser it off, the lesions they're too deep in the tissue,
Yeah.
and then is it estrogen or estrogen?
Estrogen, yeah.
Just makes it grow back, and there is
Yeah.
no cure for it other than lifestyle changes, changing your food.
Yeah.
But it's not
Massively.
fibroid. Fibroid is different.
No,
isn't
it's
it?
not fibroids.
Yeah, fibroid is different.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you have not done the female reproductive system. You've only done digestion. However, I feel that you have enough to go on with your digestive studies and client one to make
Yes.
some fairly good, astute analysis of what is causing the endometriosis and where this person's. That's
How
a
to
big,
ease it.
big,
At least.
big clue there.
But with the homework is to get to a proposed formulation.
Yeah, just have a go,
Yeah.
just have a go, get your head around thinking like that, because that's the biggest thing I think is to actually think like that. When I had to make notes to do this, it's like rewinding. It's like when we teach aromatherapy, it's like, oh my god, how many parts of that oil do I actually put in there? Well, I don't know, because I have to do it so it smells right, and I know how it smells. And if you've got to teach it, it's getting your head to think in that way. So it's a good little exercise after today to get yourself to think in the way of primary symptoms, secondary organ systems, energetics, affinities. How am I examining this person, and how am I relating it? So you're relating your homework sheet to that sheet. Yeah? It's just
So the big thing was the digestive system, didn't it?
the big clue is that I've given you this one, even though you haven't done the female reproductive system. We've only done digestion. That is a very big clue. Right, has anyone got anything else to say?
If we came on the nutrition course, do we have access to the video?
Yes, you can have the
How do I
video.
get that?
I have to send it to you. You have to ask me nicely.
Please,
Could I have one, please, too?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I can
just
do that.
wanna- yeah,
Thank
there was
you.
so much
The nutrition
information.
course.
Yeah,
I just
okay.
want to make sure I understand.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you did. Can I have one too, please? 'Cause I
Yes.
missed the afternoon.
Oh yes, you did. Yeah, you only saw half of it. Oh, you missed the good bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was mildly depressing by the time you left, but it didn't really get to real depressing stuff. Hadn't even started.
What's the film we need to watch?
There's a link. There's a
Oh,
link.
lovely.
Yeah, I'll send you the film as well.
Thank
Well, it's
you.
two, isn't there? There's Food Matters, and there's that other one. What did we watch?
Yeah, but the nutrition day they just got food.
Food matters.
Yeah.
What was all?
There's a link on the video.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
My brain. Is
Yeah, all the I've sent you, haven't I?
You have, I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I will.
Okay, yeah. Everything's on there. Yeah, and it gives you full instructions on what order to watch them in as well. That Johnny purposely typed out, so you have to listen to Johnny on this. He goes, go to this link, go to that link, go to that link.
I watched him.
Okay.
There's one with the
Is the thrush thing, is that like
What's the other one I watched?
mouth sores? Is that what it is?
You can have that anywhere.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's probably by
It's
by
the same
channel.
principle.
yeah.
But
It's down in the other area, Dave.
but
I'm not.
But it's yes, you can have it. Yes.
Some
Right.
You have a
Anyone else? Anything else that we need to talk about? Anything? No?
These two, well, and Dave, they're both, because they're the sort of qualified ones. If you start thinking about stuff in the natural healing way, so like the nutrition side of stuff, or you just want sort of straight herbalism view.
So you know when we're like diagnosing type 1?
Yeah.
How do you want us to do it?
I want you to base it on herbalism.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Just straight herbalism.
So just
Well, yeah.
what if some of it creeps?
Yeah, I
in
don't
those-
want you to say I'd use lapis at a crown. I don't want you to say that. And I'd apply some comfort oil to the back of the neck. No, that's not going to get you any brownie points.
The nutrition slide a bit,
No, more like
foodie
the
stuff.
nutrition side of it creeps.
But where do we draw the line? Because obviously we're
Well, essentially, Samantha, there is no line.
Well, no, but this
There is no line to
That's
be
what
drawn.
I
Yeah.
was saying.
because our
There is no
brains,
line.
our
There is
brains
no
are
line.
going like
Because we're like,
with
we're
everything.
holistically like done that.
Yeah, we're all right. We're trying to claw back some more
Yeah.
points now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
We are seeing it as a
Okay, you're seeing it as a whole.
the terrain.
You can't teach
Okay.
us one thing and then tell us
They
to
should
focus
lose
on
the
another.
point for quoting
No.
that.
Should
over there.
What did you say, Dave?
They should lose the point for quoting that.
They should lose a
That's
point.
blatant.
Since when do we get to points?
Blatant point
Does he not
gathering.
feel like I'm bloody mastermind here? Could put some music in a minute, all the lights will
But
go
no,
down.
it was a genuine.
Yes, you do whatever you see fit.
It wasn't on
Okay? No,
Like
carry
crystals
on.
and
You
stuff
think,
like that, but I was like,
yes,
can we
carry
throw
on.
some of the others in?
Be whole, Bailey. Yes, go for it.